Okay, guys, let's start to talk about how to improvise on guitar. I know that this is a very difficult concept to try to approach and to understand at the very beginning. It was also very difficult for me while I was studying. But the point is that today we have it very easy, right? We can learn anything with tabs online, with transcriptions, etc., etc. But we have to ask a simple question. Are we really able to master and own a simple concept? Point that we are able to apply it in a simple improvisation. This is the reason why in this video I would like to give you 7 easy steps to teach you how to start to improvise on guitar, especially if you are just starting to approach improvisation from scratch. Okay, guys, the first easy step is try to understand a chord progression. So we have to choose a key. In this case is C major, and I'm going to play 4 simple chords in loop here. Okay, so I'm going to play A minor, and I'm going to play C major, and then G major and F major. Okay, and we have to try to understand which are the function of each chord. It means that each chord is related to a degree. So it means that A minor is the 6th degree of C major. C major is the 5th degree in C major. Then we have a 5th and a 4th. Okay, this is a classic chord progression that we can listen to many songs. Okay. The second step is try to understand the structure of each chord. So we have to find the triads of each degree of each chord. So when we are on A minor, we have A, C, and E. On a C major, we have C, E, and G. On G major, we have G, B, and D. And then on F major, we have F, A, and C. Once we understand how each chord is formed, then we have to start to locate the arpeggios of each chord. Okay, so we have to start with triadic arpeggios. So the arpeggios that are formed by the 1, the 3rd, and the 5th of each chord. Okay, so we start with A minor. Then we go to C major. And then we go to G major. And then we go to F major. So your first exercise should be to try to play the triad of each chord over the chord itself. So you make a loop like I did right now with my looper here, and you try to play the triad or the arpeggios on 3 voices over each chord. So the whole point is that you don't have to think in terms of scales immediately. You have to start to understand the harmony, and you have to force yourself to stay inside the harmony. So the first exercise, as I told you, is start to play the arpeggios over each chord. You can use the arpeggios, or you can try to visualize only the triads. It depends. What I suggest you is start to play the arpeggios on different section of the neck, and then go forward little by little. Once we treat the triad, we go to the 3rd step, which is using the 4 notes arpeggios. So what we did right now is taking the triads. Now we add also the 7th. Okay, so for A minor we have, and for C major we have, and for G 7th we have, and for F major we have. Of course, try to also see the arpeggios in every part of the neck. This is very, very important. And I recommend you to do the same exercise, always staying on the same position. Okay, so you force yourself to play the arpeggio over each chord in the same position, then you switch to the next one, then to the next one, and then the next one. Okay, what I do now is trying to show you the exercise only on this part of the neck, always on the same chord progression. So the point of this very good exercise is that we have to connect one arpeggio with another one. So when the chord changes, you have to change arpeggio too, and you have to connect with the note that is more in proximity with the last note that you're playing. So for example, if you're starting to play on A minor, and you are on this G, you can connect it directly with a C major, which is the next one. Okay, so you don't have to switch too much position. So the criteria is always trying to economize your movements. The step number 4 is trying to locate the scale. It's what I call the master scale. So I have a chord progression in C major, and we are going to locate the C major scale. So what I advise you to do is using the C major scale 3 notes for strings. For me, it's the most easy to remember on guitar, the most easy to approach. Of course, you can also use vertical positions as you prefer. I always use the 3 notes for strings, and I have it pretty good. So try to visualize all the 7 modes. Once we have the master scale, the C major scale, we can use this scale over all the entire chord progression. And we have to try to use this scale more melodically. Also try to connect the scale with the triad. And try to connect also the scale with the 4-note arpeggios. So as you see, the improvisation starts to take shape, because now we have the triad, the 4-note arpeggios, and the major scale, and we can start to connect all the elements. Another little recommendation, this point number 4 that I want to give you, is start to also simplify the major scale. So you have to just cut out the 4th and the 7th, and you're going to have a pentatonic scale. So it's basically the major scale with 2 notes less, let's say, so only 5 notes. Okay, and let's visualize all the 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. Once we have all these elements, we can already try to mix together in our improvisation the triad, the 4-note arpeggios, and the major scale and the pentatonic scale. So now that we have the scales and the arpeggios, what we have to do is working on note choices. So right now we have all the big map, right? We have all the scales and arpeggios. We can map our neck more easily. But of course, this can be too much work and can be way overwhelming. So what I've asked you to do is using an exercise that me Goodrick, the great teacher, was calling the unitar. Okay, the unitar is basically taking one single string at a time and improvise over that single string. So what we have to do is taking, for example, the E string and trying to improvise only a little melodic section, melodic fragments, and bring them along the entire string here, but without thinking too much. We have to try to be way more melodic than we can possibly think. Okay, so it's not about showing technique there. It's all about trying to be melodic and connecting with the chords. Repeat the same on the second string. We can start to use bendings. And slides. And only the nuances. Let's go to the third string now. Fourth string. Fifth string. And sixth string, okay. Etc., etc. Okay, now we have the big map with scales and arpeggios. We have the ability to play little melodic scales over each string. What we can do right now is another simple improvisation exercise. It's more creative. So we have to now start to have dynamics and start to think also in terms of spaces that we can create. Because of course, we don't have to play all the time, right? We have to play, create a space, and then play again. So in the moment in which we have a pause, we have to restart our discussion, our dialogue in a more logical sense. It's the same idea that I'm using while I am talking with you, okay? So I try to expose you a concept, then take a breath, and then go again, trying to connect what I said in the previous sentence, right? And it's exactly the same while we are improvising. So what I do right now is applying, for example, a little phrase, a little melodic phrase. Okay, okay, the last note is C, so I'll wait a pause, for example, 4 bars, 4 beats, okay, not 4 bars, 1 bar, okay, 4 beats. And then I connect to these last notes that apply to a next phrase, but I start with the C and I develop another phrase that ends on another note. Then I create a pause, and then I restart on the last notes, and so on and so forth. Okay, this creates some sort of logical development in the solo. Okay, so it's not only choosing, the scale and playing the scale up and down, and just the arpeggios, but it becomes like a more creative work in which you have to think every note, and then you have to connect logically each little melodic fragment. Okay, now we are at step number 7. In the step number 7, we have to use only the rhythm. Okay, we created the melody, we learn how to use the pauses, and then we have to learn to master the rhythm. So the best method that I can give you is to try to take a little small rhythm cell. Okay, so for example, ta 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 da 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 ta. Okay, ta 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 da 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 ta. Ta 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 da 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 ta. Okay, and try to move this rhythm cell along the entire scale. You can do it both with unitar method, so just moving along one entire string, or you can do it, if you feel like, of course, you can do it vertically in different areas, or you can do it all the entire neck. I recommend you to start maybe with one single string, then go with one single position, move to the other positions if you want to be very methodic, and then go to play on all the entire neck. Of course, don't give to your mind immediately all the information right away. Try to simplify little by little and then connect the pieces. Okay, so we have ta 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 da 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 ta 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 da 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 ta, for example, and we connect this rhythm phrase along the neck. Okay, guys, I hope this guide was helpful for you. If it was, please leave me down a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave me a big thumb up if you liked this lesson. Also, guys, you can subscribe to my Patreon, and there you can find all the tabs, transcriptions, diagrams, and more materials and courses that you don't find here on my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time.